Dhyanamulam Gurumurti Pujamulam Gurupadam Mantramulam Guruvakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Today, I don't know whether was it yesterday or day before, a question was asked, how to reach to moksha. Moksha, liberation. If we ask ourselves, what makes us ask this question? What is moksha and why moksha? If a bird was to fly in the sky, and will bird ask for moksha? If you're looking for happiness, then one has to ask, why happiness? Unless and until you have experienced unhappiness or sadness, we will not be asking for happiness. Likewise, we may ask for liberation, we may ask for freedom, because we are bonded. We have limitations. And what is that limitations? Where do you experience the bondage, the tightness, the chain environment, where you could not do the things you want to do? That is where we are seeking liberation. In this connection, I remember Swami Chinmayananda's statement that liberation or the moksha is not that freedom which allows you to do what you want, but it is that freedom which allows your mind not to do what your mind wants to do. And people may wonder, what is it? That whatever we feel like eating, say for example, and we often say, either our parents or our mentor or our spouse, they say, no, you can't eat this. And when we cannot eat this, at that time we say, am I not even free? But say, even if you're allowed by everybody to eat and behave the way you want to behave, and still you are not free. Why? Because if you contemplate enough and you find out that in you, with you, there is one entity, not outside of you, that dictates every term. and that is your mind. We all, barring nobody, is a slave of the mind. In meditation class also, we have heard a lot. What we heard is think of mind and not with mind. I may be talking about the same matter over and over, but let me tell you, this is a satsang we all need to be reminded, because we have been slave of the mind for years and births together. And even if you don't believe in birth or reincarnation or anything, but at least whatever is your age, you can tell we are the slave of our mind. And what it is, just understand that at this stage in the game, you feel like going on vacation. Your mind says you must go for vacation. And if you cannot go, you will be miserable. You bought a brand new car, the one that you wanted to, and 10 people told you that, what did you buy? I mean, hey, Sonaji, can you not think of something else? And you bought this junk that impacted my mind, and now my mind says, this is not it. I need to have another one. So I'm bonded again. I'm bounded again. Boundary. And when we cannot think, and one of the biggest boundary is this, we think that I am this body. And the body has confinement, has limitations. But have you ever had the joy of silence? And silence, we have heard many times, silence is not to talk, but not having anything to talk. And when you don't have anything to talk, meaning what? There's serenity everywhere. And once when serenity is everywhere, there is no further need. Silence has no boundary, no description. And no boundary means freedom. No bondage is freedom. And how to reach there? That is the, you can say, process, science of the entire spirituality. To enjoy that freedom. And what is it when we, as soon as we think of freedom, as soon as we think of self-realization, as soon as we think of samadhi, meditation, we all want to do, but it is not a matter of doing it. Because understand, as soon as you want to do something, can anything be done without thinking or without planning? Consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, does not matter. Can anything be done without thinking? And can any thought be without any agitation, vibration? And vibration is definitely not a silence. And hence, our rat race cycle begins. Should we keep on observing Go deep into it. And particularly, it will be a lot easier if you're sad, if you're unhappy, then go to the root of it. And even when you want to go to the root of it, and your mind is picking up somebody to blame upon, or something to blame upon, or some time. Some people say, oh, these are the bad times. No matter what you do, things won't be right. Graha, nakshatra, the stars are not right. As soon as you, and I'm not saying whether there is truth to the matter or not, but as soon as you have third thing to blame upon, then you know we are not on the spiritual path. And that third thing may include this body as well. So we have to go deep into and find out what makes me unhappy. It is the mind that is telling you that whatever you have is insufficient. Those topics also we have talked about. And there are people, they think that when they will meet God, they will be realized, they will be free, they will have self-realization or moksha, liberation. So talking about God, I felt like sharing one sloka from Bhagavad Gita with you, and let me take you to that slide. And that is from chapter 15. Those of you who are interested, most of you may be knowing it, and it is stanza 6, the sloka 6. So, understanding this, I will read it for you. Those of you who don't know Devanagari or Sanskrit, they can read the pronunciation in green, and the meaning is in the golden color. Natat bhasarate suryo na shushanko na pavakaha yat gatva na nivartante tat dhamma paramam mama. Very simple meaning. Na means not, tat means there, bhasarate means shines or brings light, surya, neither Surya nor Shashanka, Shashi, the moon, and the Pavaka means fire. So during those days, there were only 3 sources of lumens or the light. So he says, it is that place where none of this shines, none of this light. So which light he is talking about? He says, yat gatva, having gone there, yat gatva, na means not, nivartante, returns. Nobody returns having gone there. That tat dhamma, abode, or the place, paramam, supreme, mama, mine. So it is Krishna, the Krishna consciousness, the individual, you can call it even individual, or the consciousness is saying that I am there where none of the light shines. What does it mean, none of this light shine? And whereby all the intelligence of the world that you use, all the intellectualization that you use, none of them will get you to that light. Having gotten that, you need nothing. And what is that light? What is that param dhamma, paramam dhamma? Paramam, supreme most, dhamma abode. So that's where you will find peace. What is that? And that is the matter of silence. And you say that silence is that light? Yes, it is. Because silence is love. Silence is compassion. And there is nothing to think of. As soon as there is thinking, there's no silence. And I would like to take you to one more slide. This is a little Hindi, and I will share with you. न दुनिया का गम था, न रिश्तों के बंधन. Let me come out of the slide mode and this silence, the joy, the boundarylessness, akash, all those words we have heard. So first I will go to the sloka, and in that sloka, it mentions often. Of course, the translation may not be adequate because every sloka is so concise, so compact, so pregnant, that needs to go and keep on contemplating. So we have to keep on contemplating that what is that light with which Krishna, the divine consciousness, is talking about. That is my supreme abode. Those who go there will not come back. So what is those who will go there? There means where? That they know my mind plays the game. So you mean you throw away your mind? No. You tame your mind. You groom your mind. You train your mind. And how would you train it? First, you observe it. In other words, everything is leading to the state of silence. Everything is leading to the state of love. And slowly, once you progress means nobody has to certify you. You yourself will feel that nowadays nothing matters to me. My nephew who lives in Houston, he was telling me a very good thing, that he says previously, until yesterday, he had some kind of complex. I can't call it superiority or inferiority, but the comparison was going on. He was invited by his older brother place to go and have lunch. At that time, until that time, meaning until yesterday, he was always thinking that the older brother is way more successful than he is. And how come I am, as a matter of, I'm talking about him. He was thinking that he was and he is more intelligent than his older brother. But still, how come he seems successful and not me? He had this kind of complex for so long, but ever since he has slowly drifted into observing silence, doing little bit of yoga. And this morning he was sharing with me, he says, Sonaji, yesterday was the first time that I did not feel any way down with myself or up with himself. I thought it is what it is. And at that time, I felt so happy that yes, he started observing the play of mind, and that play of mind displaces all kind of bondage, all kind of restriction. So the freedom, and I'm not talking about this as complete freedom, but at least that freedom, that part of the freedom that he started observing, whether his older brother is more successful or less successful, or more handsome or otherwise, that must not be the cause of his unhappiness. But who can tell him? He realized himself. And when he was sharing with me, I felt such a joy. So understand, as soon as the misery starts, as soon as the mother-in-law sets in, treat mother-in-law. It is not mother-in-law that makes you mad, but it is you thinking that mother-in-law should think of you differently than what she is thinking. Who thinks that? Your mind. So the misery is with the mind, self-created. No matter howsoever unhappy the situation may be, all situation, everybody may agree with you that yes, his older brother should have also considered something. And at that time, you will feel good that, oh, now see, at least everybody else is agreeing. That is not your spiritual path. Spiritual path is a singular journey. You and you alone, meaning you have to contemplate and bring even relative silence. And when you bring in the relative silence, what happens? You start diving deep into you and find out why I became miserable. And for this, my father was using only two words. And he says, be over and not under. And you may wonder what he was talking about. If you remain in your problem and you start thinking of the solution, that is, you are under the effect of the problem, you will not come out of it. But you be over the situation, meaning you think that that situation belongs to third person, and how would you have advised him or her? You are the hero. So, same those father's words, don't be under, be over. Observe yourself. And for all this, relative silence is necessary. I cannot say when would we be that lucky to have absolute silence. Through the window of the relative silence, when you will see the beautiful sky, Akash, I mean, it will be so pretty. And at that time, the second line I wrote, "Na dunya ka gam tha." Dunya, the world, gam means unhappiness. It is that state where there was no unhappiness of the world, and रिश्तों के बंधन, रिश्तों, association, relationship, रिश्तों के बंधन, bondage. And this is a song which is so dear to me, and it is the song about the childhood. And he says the childhood is such that there is no unhappiness, there's no worries one has to think of. Does a child ever have to think, now I'm laid off, which job I will go for? Or will the child ever think that, oh my God, I'm going to my uncle's place and he's very strict. I will have to behave what he wants me to behave. There's no bondage, no restriction. Whatever they feel like, they do it. If they feel like going to sleep while everybody else is talking, he sleeps. While for us, we think, oh my God, we have a special guest at our house. And I know I had a sleepless night, but how can I sleep? It will look courtesy-less. They will think that I don't care. So I rather scrub my eyes and stay awake. Bondage, bandhan of rishta, relationship. It's a very famous song, those of you with Indian heritage, those of you know Hindi or Gujarati, they will appreciate, but I just chose that line. But sometimes people say that, Swamiji, you know, you're living in a family and you have to look for everybody. Understand to a minor degree you do, but you do not have even 5 minutes out of 24 hours whereby you can behave the way you want to. Even if you're living in a very tight family, can you not just say that, hey, Chandrasekhar, look, I will be busy from 9 to 9:05. Please do not disturb. 5 minutes. Just sit and meditate. Just observe your breath and be content. And during those moments of silence, and as the silence keeps on growing, during that time, one will understand that yesterday I became mad because I was tired, I was hungry, and my wife has done nothing. Immediate that burden of anger disappears. And when that disappears, the vikshepa, the boundary, the covering of anger that was overpowering the environment of love, that disappears, and you find nothing but love, nothing but peace. That 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half hour, all of us we have. And with this, all I can say, dear friend, every word of today will try to remember, and that is, be over, not under. I will find 10 minutes for myself to observe the silence, and during which I will behave like a child. I will be the master of myself. Science of spirituality is a science of mastery. Science of yoga is a science of mastery. It is nothing to bring under control. You will have freedom and you will expand freedom in the ambience around you, in the environment around you. Dear friends, I love you all so much. It is such a joy that you share with me, you give me to share this satsang. Hari Om. Allow me to have Shantipad and kindly join me. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti. 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 Hari Om.